Hey everyone, Slambo here, hopping on another thread. This one is for Low Noise Jason Skilz. He asked us to show bad album covers in our collection. I'm going to start with the LPs and then we'll move on to the CDs for this one. And these coincidentally are about in increasing order of badness, if you want to put it that way. So I'm going to start with one that's pretty plain, and that's Sorted Dixie by Billy May and his orchestra. This cover doesn't say anything Dixieland to me. Dixieland colors are not orange, white, black, and red in my mind. They're more like red, white, and blue, but you know, there it is, and it's kind of plain. This is actually a variant color of the same album. I have another album where it's more of a picture that's a much better cover on it. Back, of course, is all just liner notes. We've got 9 tracks on here. Recorded in 1955. There we go. So Sorted Dixie, Billy May and his orchestra is my first pick for a bad album cover, just because it's so plain and those colors don't say Dixieland to me. Next one I've got is a compilation, and there are lots of these about. Kermit Schaefer's all-time great bloopers. This one, yeah, well, you know, it sort of does say, you know, they don't want to see or hear what's going on, but you know, that's just not what I think of when I think of bloopers. You know, I'd rather see one of the people actually making a blooper and his reaction right as he made it. You know, the picture on the back is more like what I'm thinking of. So I'd like to see a picture like that on the front of this. Next one I've got is a soundtrack album, and as a photographer, I think there's a bunch of stuff in this picture that they did not want to show on the cover, so they just cropped it out, and it made it kind of plain. That's Beverly Hills Cop. I might get some flack for this one, but you know, I want to see what's over here and what's over here in the picture. You know, fill the whole side of the record with the photo. Yeah, sure, you know, the star of the movie is a great thing, but you know, that there's more to the movie than just the person. So I mean, this cover could have been so much better. All right, so now into the CDs. And this one is similar to the first one in that it's really just a big blob of color, and it doesn't say much about the band itself. And that's Hot Tuna's self-titled Hot Tuna. You know, looking at it, you can see that that's one of the band members there in profile, right there on the front. But from a distance, okay, it's just a red and blue blotch. It doesn't really grab me. The front, it's got a whole bunch of text here that's really kind of hard to read in this font. Let's see if it'll focus here. And no, of course it won't. You'll have to trust me on this one, or look it up on Discogs. The font does not do it any favors. You can just barely read it. The only way you can really read and what it is by looking at the spine there or looking at the back. But this cover is really not very good. It's not readable, and the picture they used doesn't say acoustic blues to me. So the next one is a private pressing, and I can understand what they're trying to show here, but it's not very interesting. And that's wax cylinder recordings of Ada Jones and Billy Murray. And those are the actual wax cylinders that they're showing there, or at least I assume they are, because you can't really see close enough. You know, you can see the labels, but those are the publishing company labels and not the artists. You can see various wax cylinders, but there's nothing to indicate who the artists on those cylinders are. And the back is just a big old list. This could have been put in the booklet inside. On the cover, it's 2 people, really. You could have put portraits of these 2 people on the cover. Since all of these were recorded, the latest recording on here is 1911. So the recordings are all public domain. Anything published in the US before 1924 is public domain. So you should have been able to find a portrait of at least one of the 2 to put onto the cover. The worst cover in my collection, I'm going to go with this one. There is a boatload of text on there that I just don't understand because I don't read French. And it's way too small to be readable on this. I'm sure it does have a portrait of the artist here, which yeah, I commend them for that. And the artist's name is nice and big, and it's easy to read. And yeah, it's Jazz Tribune number 30. They're trying to make it look like a newspaper, but all of this just, you can read words on there. So you would think you're supposed to be able to read them, but they're way too small to read, even when you bring it up close. And of course, it's not going to focus on it for me. And there's nothing on the back here that says that this was printed for a French audience. We've got registered General Electric USA, BMG Entertainment. There's the one thing, BMG France, 1992. Okay, but the rest of it, manufactured and distributed by BMG Entertainment, New York, New York. All of the track titles are in English. And if we open it up, there's a bigger version of the same cover, so you can read it there, but again, all the track titles are in English. And all of that's in English. So this is not a good cover because it's very small text that is very hard to read. Graphic design is supposed to be use as little words as possible. Use a picture if possible. Use very few words to get your point across. Make it so that someone can spot it and find out what it is in 2 seconds. This one is awfully hard. Unless you know the name, Fletcher Henderson, you're not going to know what this is. So those are my picks for the worst album covers in my collection for Low Noise Jason Skilz. We had a whole bunch of things there. We had colors that don't represent what's on there. We had just blotches of color. We had text that was impossible to read. We had pictures that might not necessarily show what is on the recordings. We have pictures that were cropped. I think cropped way too far, so you don't get a real good sense of what the picture is. But there we go. Bad album covers. So that's what I got today. See you next time.